Hey guys, JoeFan82 here, and today I am looking at the G.I. Joe FSS 5.0 Charbroil figure. This is based on the 1988 figure of the same name, and as you can see, he does bear a striking resemblance in the uniform and the helmet. And speaking of the helmet, I'm going to go ahead and bring him in a little closer, and if you'll notice, the helmets look exactly the same. If anyone knows for sure in the comments, let me know if this is in fact the same helmet just re-released, because that's what it looks like to me. The sculpt and details are exactly the same. I see no difference. So yeah. So while we're here, let me just comment on the helmet. I'm a little disappointed in the helmet because if you compare it to the rest of the figure, the sculpting is soft. There's not much detail going on. It just doesn't fit with the rest of the figure. And let's take a look at the rest of the figure. We have some gray web gear here, which is nicely sculpted. Lots of nice detail in there. It's yellow up on the top. Some yellow padding over the top. The gray comes around the back with some red belts that loop around. He's got some yellow pouches on his arms. His whole uniform is a brownish. It's brown, but it's kind of a little brownish red too. He's got orange gloves, some silver things going on here on his wrists. Not sure what those are. Maybe an Apple Watch. Coming down, he's got some yellow pouches on his thighs, on the pants, and some silver knee pads there. Why do I still have this on? I don't know. He's got his pants come down to the boots. Boots are the same exact color as the pants, which is disappointing. They could have sprung for a few extra drops of paint and painted these something else besides the exact same color as the pants. Now, I don't know if you can notice this, but the paint on his thighs and lower body, and I guess up here in the torso too, is darker than the paint on the lower legs and the arms. I mean, it's not that noticeable unless you really look at it, but it is a little noticeable. So it's a little weird. I don't know why that is, but and it's not like there's like a fade, you know, like sometimes they'll do a fade from one color to another. It's just straight different color. So not sure why that was done. Let's go ahead and take off his helmet. Oh, the helmet is very loose on his head. You can turn this helmet and the head is not moving at all, or very slightly, which I don't like. If you're going to have a helmet, it needs to be snug on the head, so when you turn the helmet, the head moves with it. So another strike against this helmet, and it kind of, and this, you know, it's the same as the original. It looks a little buggy. Kind of looks like a, I don't know, kind of like an alien type helmet. It would have been really cool on this modern version if they had done a helmet with some actual translucent plastic for the eyes, as in the card art, which we'll look at in a second. Another disappointment with this guy is the head is in a balaclava instead of just a regular head sculpt. This figure was released in 2013 with a convention set in Night Force colors, and it had an actual face sculpt with the figure, and everybody assumed that that's what we would be getting with this guy, but we were wrong. We got a covered face, which is kind of a shame because for G.I. Joe you really want more exposed faces, except for Beachhead and some other guys, Snake Eyes, etc. So that's a little disappointment there. Let's go over articulation really quick. His head doesn't really turn all the way because of his high collar here. It does have good range of motion otherwise. He does have the standard arm. His arms are they're just tight enough to be posable, but they don't have that ratcheting feeling like most of the other figures do, which is nice. I kind of like it. Has that old Joe feel to him, so that's nice. And they do go all the way around. He bends at the elbow. Wrists do a full 360, and they have a joint like that. Legs go about so far apart. He has double jointed knees. Voila. And the infamous rocker ankles are down here, which rocker ankles have grown on me a little bit. I was really against them at first, but as long as they're done, as long as they're not loose, like they're not loose on this guy. On the I believe it was the 50th Cobra Commander, they were so loose they just kind of flopped around. But on this guy, see, they're pretty good, pretty solid. And let's take a look at his accessories. He comes with his backpack, which contains the igniter for his flame throwing, and he's got a black hose, which is much thinner than the original. If you have the original figure, you notice this hose is probably half or a third as thick as the original, and this end of the hose goes into the gun right here like that. And this is some nice sculpting on this. This is mine is number 2. Mine was the second one made. Wow, that's pretty cool. So this is the end here. Very nice. Nice sculpting on that. And I really like this flame that they made. This is really nice. The one for the 2013 convention set is it's either a darker red or darker orange color, and this is a sort of a light orange yellowish color. So I mean, that was a really nice detail there. And it slides in like that. So it looks like he's shooting flames out of his gun. He also comes with this tiny brown pistol. That's right, brown. So I would have preferred I don't know, black or silver, but they went with brown. So there you go. And his figure stand, G.I. Joe, codename Charbroil. Let's go ahead and see what he looks like with this stuff on. Whoa, whoa. Okay. So there you go. Oh, and his helmet is a loose helmet. There he is, all geared up. Very nice. And let's take a look at the packaging here. This was I don't know if I can show you here because my camera's kind of low. This was what he came in. Very nice card art there. If someone can let me know in the comments, I'm giving you guys a lot of homework here. The artwork is very similar to the original artwork. So, and it kind of looks like they took the original and just went in and photoshopped out some of the details and changed it for the modern version. Like this chest section is different, the shoulder parts are different, but the helmet looks exactly the same. The arms are in the same position. Looks like this, they went over this area. So if you know if this was an original piece, or if they went back and adjusted the original, like I think they did, let me know. But if you'll notice, same as in the original, he's got hoses that come out of the helmet which do not translate over to the figure. So probably budgetary reasons, or for whatever reason, they did not include those. And I'm guessing these are oxygen supply that are feeding into his helmet. But this is very nice painted artwork there. And it, if I can raise this up, there we go. So that's a better shot of the artwork. And it says Flamethrower, codename Charbroil, G.I. Joe Club exclusive adult collectible, and the retro Hasbro logo on the bottom corner, and the same artwork on the back. I think it would have been really cool if on the back they did the old school grid of images of the other figures in this year's FSS. You know, like they had, like we've seen the other figures in the lineup for, you know, the original line, and then the 25th they would show the other figures. So I thought that would have been pretty cool, instead of just the same image that we see on the front, on the back. G.I. Joe Club exclusive, excuse me, 5 and number 1. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the file card. It says Flamethrower, codename Charbroil, full name Carl G. Shannon, primary military specialty flame weapons specialist, secondary military specialty small arms armor, birthplace Black Duck, Minnesota, grade E4. As a childhood, in this paragraph here, it says, as a childhood chore, Charbroil had to heat the water pipes in the family basement with a blowtorch to keep them from freezing and bursting in the winter. That seems like a dangerous job for a child. As a teenager, he worked in the mills on the Great Lakes, feeding coal into blast furnaces. When the Army recruiting sergeant asked him what type of job he was interested in, he replied, "What have you got with open flames?" That seems like a warning flag to me. If you're looking to hire someone and they want something with open flames. Boy. Since then, he has become one of the premier flame weapons specialists on the G.I. Joe team. And down here, this goes into his equipment. The man-portable flamethrower is an incendiary device designed to project a long, controllable stream of ignited flammable liquid. Unfortunately, it can be as dangerous for the operator as it is to enemy combatants, so only the most expertly trained soldiers still utilize this psychologically devastating weapon. Psychologically, I think it can also be physically devastating weapon. Charbroil uses his flamethrower against battlefield fortifications, bunkers, and other protected emplacements to persuade the enemy to exit rapidly and surrender. He is exceedingly precise with his targets to avoid collateral damage. It seems like that would be really difficult with fire. It's not easy to control fire. And down here is a quote. "I have a quick way of turning the heat up on the enemy." And I'm guessing that is Charbroil himself saying that. And for the third time, we get the same image again. So overall, this is a decent figure. He's got a great sculpt, nice paint apps. He does suffer a little bit from his helmet and from the lack of extra paint app on his boots at the bottom. I forgot to mention that his flamethrower is a little loose in his hand, so don't be surprised if you go to put it in his hand and it wobbles a little bit. It's fine if he's not moving around too much, but if if he's waving his arm around, it's gonna fall out. So I would put this guy somewhere in the middle as far as figures go, and we'll see out of this line of FSS figures where he falls. I wouldn't pay too much for him. You can try to find a deal. I've seen some on eBay already, and there are some on the other online retailers that sell G.I. Joe. So that's it for this video. You can find me on social media via the links in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.